Hey everyone, I want to thank you for tuning in to one of EPARTRADE's Race Industry Now Tech webinars. If you're a part of the racing industry or you're just passionate about racing tech, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel so you never miss a new episode.
Good morning and welcome to Race Industry Now, the weekly webinar series from EPARTRADE, presented to you by ARP, Performance Plus Global Logistics, Feria Racing Components, Peak, Fifth Third Bank Motorsport, Quower, and CTEC Manufacturing. I am Francisque Savignan, the founder and CEO of EPARTRADE, the racing industry, every minute, every day. This is episode 555, and we're going to be talking with BMRS. With me this morning are Judy King, the co-founder of EPARTRADE, and our wonderful host, Mr. Brad Gillie. Judy?
Thank you, Francis. And thank you everyone for joining today. I'm truly delighted to have Brown Miller Racing Solutions on with us today. Such an iconic brand, premier racing products, but they are so much more than that. They are a solutions racing company. So very proud to have them on today. Brad?
Thank you very much, Francisque, and thank you very much, Judy. We appreciate it. We'll talk to you guys here very shortly after we just have a wonderful webinar and get a great education and some enlightenment about a great product. Our topic today, the title of our webinar, Race Car Plumbing Made Practical by BMRS, and you can see them with us here now. John Harper is the Vice President, and Scott Hunter is Regional Sales Director. Gentlemen, welcome. I'm glad you're here today.
Thank you for having us. This has been a long time coming. We've been talking about doing it for years with Judy, and now finally get to make it happen.
Oh my gosh, I'm glad everything works out to make that happen as well. Let's go ahead and start and roll a video that you have first. That'll give us kind of an idea of what we're going to be talking about today and really help feature what BMRS offers. Well, guys, it's an impressive facility, and obviously a lot of impressive work comes out of there. So, really, let's get into the meat of it. And when we start to talk about race car plumbing, obviously there are some boxes we need to check, and then some boxes we want to check. Let's be honest. I mean, first of all, it needs to work. We need to have the right product for the application, no leaks or anything like that. Everything needs to fit properly. And look, who doesn't want it to look good as well, right? So,
right.
BMRS covers all of that, doesn't it?
I hope so. Yeah, it's kind of been an interesting journey with the company. When we first started, we had just basic, regular 90-degree fittings and straights and 45s. And over the years, I think when we first started, it was probably 150, 200 different part numbers, and now it's up to thousands of,
5,000 different part numbers.
5,000 different custom fittings that we make. We try to kind of preach to people when they call and say, hey, I think I need a fitting that's a custom built fitting that, I've never seen before. And odds are we usually have it already. The hardest part for us really is just to advertise and get it out there and show people everything we have, because it's just the catalog of things that we have is just constantly evolving.
That is really cool. Before we really get into the meat of it, I do want to encourage anyone who is viewing live. If you have a question at any point during our discussion, please feel free to type it into the chat because we definitely want to answer any questions that you have. We want to be able to talk about what you might want to talk about. But when we get into the custom side of it, and we'll talk about all the things BMRS, also want to point out, guys, that you guys really cover a pretty wide territory with facilities in North Carolina, Indiana, California, and even the UK. So, I mean, this truly is worldwide, right?
Correct. Yes. Yeah, when we first started, manufacturing's always been in London, England. Just the main engineer for the company was over there, and basically that way we could control all of that. We opened this facility in North Carolina in 1999, and then years after that, I think we did California.
California
first, and then we did a shop in Brownsburg, Indiana, just mainly service the IndyCar and drag racing markets. Southern California is very, very focused on West Coast kind of open wheel racing, and then the off-road truck stuff is very, very big in Vegas, Phoenix and Los Angeles to be out there for those guys.
Yeah, which is fantastic. Again, you've really got everything covered when it comes to performance applications for sure. So let's just start. What makes BMRS hoses unique?
So one thing I think is unique, but then also consistency is a big thing. Ever since we started the company, we were kind of different, and we weren't the first people to do a convoluted hose, but we were the one that I think stuck with it throughout all the years. I think there have been people that have gone, one route, and then they always just kind of change their hose. And one thing that we've been consistent with is we manufacture this hose, and its construction's very unique. It has a layer of carbon inside it, 2 layers of PTFE, and then a layer of fiberglass around it. And then the one thing that's kind of, unique is the inner core of our hose is the same on everything, and we braid it with 4 different types of braid. Some things are better suited for, different braids than others. Obviously, stainless steel will get you basically full temperature on everything. And then the one thing that it does buy you that we have to kind of argue with people all the time is vacuum ratings. This will go basically full vacuum at temperature at the minimum bend radius of the hose. Some of the other braids that we put on the hose, you can't control the vacuum rating as much. And so one thing that's kind of gone crazy over the last 5-10 years is, especially in certain markets, is everybody wants everything to be black. And black looks great, but if you try to use this hose for your suction lines on a motor, the potential of having problems, especially if they're pulling a lot of vacuum, is always an issue. And so you try to argue with people until you're blue in the face about them having to use stainless hose, and they don't want to hear it. So what options that we have is we can put like a fire sleeve over the stainless to make it look black, which is a bigger deal to some people than the actual performance of the hose.
And the other thing with this hose is like we manufacture our own hose. Not many customer or companies out there can say that. A lot of people just adapt fittings to an existing hose out there. So we're one of the few companies that actually make the fittings and all construct of the hose. So it's very unique for us. Like I said, the stainless steel is the flexibility of the product is that's where we win a lot. Flexibility, lightweightness. That's where we're able to make things fit in tighter areas. And we've come up with a lot of solutions to, adapters wise and Wiggins and stuff like that to get the situation with less connections, therefore less leak pass and issues like that. So, I mean, all this stuff is very important. It's not just a hose anymore. It's a solution to a lot of problems.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we talk about the hose. How about the fittings?
So the one thing that makes us not unique, but one thing that we've always done is basically made all of our fittings in one piece. So typically, a lot of stuff you see nowadays, the part that goes into the hose would be one piece, the elbow would be another piece, and the seat would be a separate piece. And so you'd have braze joints to where they'd be welded together. Initially, and this has been since day one with our company, is we take a piece of metal, We basically machine it straight, and then we anneal it through a heat treating process to anneal it and soften it. And then we mandrel bend every fitting. So every fitting is bent with mandrels being pulled through it to keep the roundness through the fitting. And then we reheat treat every fitting back up to T6, which allows you to tighten it and use it, hundreds of times without the seat flaring out and the nut seizing up. Takes a lot more time than it would take with a braze together fitting, but you eliminate the leak paths with having, multiple welds, and then you still have a round elbow, and then you have something that's heat treated that's going to last a lot longer.
Yeah, that's actually pretty amazing, and pretty incredible. So I know there are several different product lines that are offered, from the Pro Gold to the Smooth Bore, the Pro Black DR, and everything. What's the best hose for each system in the car?
So, I mean, literally, it depends on, if you're pressure or vacuum. It depends if it's high pressure, low pressure. So, I mean, we have a full range of brake fittings from -2 all the way up, in hose, all from -2, -3. Still a lot of like dirt late models use -4 brake lines, but we have, multiple different configurations in the fittings that you can step up or step down on the fitting connection. So if you want to try out, if you have -4 connections on your dirt late model brake caliper, but you want to try -2 line, we make fittings that will step down from -2 hose to, or step up to a -4 fitting. One thing that's gotten really popular over the last 5 years in NASCAR, because they got to, continually try to get rid of things, is basically, instead of having a union adapter or a bulkhead adapter, we make male fittings that just basically you can screw it right into the hard line on the car.
Even the banjo fittings to eliminate adapters on the actual caliper, we can do multiple different angle banjos that can screw directly to. All these solutions are trying to eliminate weight and connections. I mean, that's what, and NASCAR is the leading edge of that. They're trying to save weight everywhere we can. So we're even crimping directly to tubes now. I mean, this is our CNC tube bend here, and you can actually see we welded a tail form directly to the tube to make it a one-piece combination. We eliminated that connection, therefore eliminate that leak path, the weight, all that. So that's what it's all about. I mean, that's what people come to us for, is that, to create lighter products and more durable stuff.
That's really cool. Well, let's talk about the steps then in creating hose assemblies for your customers. I mean, obviously, it sounds like if someone has an idea or a need or a want, there's a way to figure it out. Is that a good way to say it?
Yeah, I mean, basically, we'll get people will call and they'll say, okay, I need to go from, the first thing we kind of ask is, like we said earlier, is it pressure? Is it vacuum? If it's vacuum, we're going to direct them towards the stainless.
Try to understand the environment. What are we messing? What kind of motorsports are you into? Obviously, if we go to drag racing, I'm going to guide you towards a different product to handle. We have fire resistant hoses in case there was a flash fire. It can withstand that. There's different questions we'll go through and kind of get us down a pathway. And it even could be just, hey, I have a set of hoses for my car, with a rubber inner core, and we want to update to this, PTFE hose. And we could even take your existing hoses and ship them in, and we can mock them up and send back, and 5 pounds lighter, and here's your new product. So
yeah, so we'll have people call in. They'll kind of, some of them know what they want. We just kind of walk them through the process of how to measure things. Some people try to call us all the time and say, hey, I need it to be cut at 12 inches. Well, 12 inches cut on our fittings versus what they have is going to be different. So as long as we have an understanding, give us the end to end, the overall length, or if
so
you measure.
end to end would be farthest most point on each end, and then seat to seat would be center of where the connection is.
Yeah.
As long as we have that understanding, we can make you whatever you need.
Yeah. And then sometimes it'll get a little critical with, if people are really, really wanting to save weight, they'll use fixed ends on both ends, and then they have to give us the orientation. But we just did an update on our website lately that basically has a lot more technical information for people to go on there to understand how to give us the orientation on things. But if they don't want to go that route, we basically make fittings that are double swivels. so that you can put a double swivel on one end and then you can change the orientation on it as much as you want.
Oh, that's really cool. I like that. And
Yeah,
again,
so
oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah, so basically, yeah, once we understand what the customer wants, we will basically get an order in the system. If it's something that people think they might order over and over again, we'll basically create a part number or a bill of materials for it. And so we can, basically build off of what the specs are. Once the hose is assembled by one of our staff, it goes through every single hose we make here, gets pressure tested at 1.5 times what the rating of the hose is. After that process, it goes through a drying process, and then it goes to our QC department. If it's something that's ordered over again, we would then laser engrave the part number on one of the crimp collars. And that if the customer ever wanted it again, they can just call up, look at the number on their crimp collar and say, hey, I need or even if they buy a car from another place, they can go, hey, I need a KKR 9-001 part number. And then basically we can pull that up and then build it for them.
That's really cool. And even with all the detail and the processes and everything that you guys go through, it's still a pretty quick turnaround, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I mean, it used to be, we used to really pride ourselves on being able to do stuff same day, but as the company's grown and gotten bigger, we got a little bit more red tape to deal with. And so we can, I mean, obviously, if there's situations where people are in a mass panic, we can do things very, very fast, but we try to stay within, depending on the time of the year, 3 days usually we can turn stuff around. Tubing is 5 working days.
Yeah.
I think we're at 5 working days on tubing stuff. And that can be, that's a whole different conversation, but on tubing stuff, we can have people send us we get the craziest mock-ups where people take PVC pipe and put a blowtorch to it and bend it into a shape. And then they send it to us and say, okay, I need this PVC shape made in, 1-inch tubing. And, I need, and basically ends welded on it. And now we've kind of bolstered our capabilities in having orbital welding in-house. So we can basically bend, and we still get every once in a while where we'll have team members around here because we're in NASCAR country, walk in at lunchtime with something and want to wait on it.
No.
And basically yeah, so we have the capability to do that to where we can bend it, clip the orbital welder on there, weld it, pressure test it, get everything done, and get it done in an hour sometimes if we have to. We don't really want to advertise that, but obviously some people get in panics and
Yeah, I mean, we're in the racing industry. You're going to run into problems. You're going to have a crash and you got to race the next day. I mean, we will try to accommodate the best we can.
Yeah.
But yeah, we try to give a reasonable date so we don't disappoint people, give them a good expectation. But yeah, I mean, we do have stuff that has to go. I get next dayers all the time that we just got to get it out. And, these are their people's careers now. I mean, racing now is running around the clock now. We used to have kind of an off season. There's no such thing anymore. I mean, people are running everywhere, Florida, in January, February. It's like the off season is very short now. It's pretty much Christmas and New Year's and we're back at it, right? So we got to have rapid turnaround for these guys to, go race and make a living.
Yeah.
Yeah. We like to just call it the non-racing season. Whenever your particular series is out of season, because off season is definitely not a real term. A question from the chat asks, what types of heat treating equipment do you use? Can you talk about that?
I don't know the specific name, but we basically, all of our stuff, we anneal it. So that's a long process at different stages in temperature to bring it down. And then when we reheat treat things, I've seen the process when I go over there a lot, but I can't really speak to the specifics. I know that everything that when we bring it up to a temperature, it's very, very critical once you get there to getting it out of the oven as fast as possible and getting it quenched in water. And so,
and that process is long.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I think it's 27 hours, I believe, to get the fitting back up to get the fittings back up to T6. And so, as far as specifics, I can get more information if he wants to shoot us an email.
Okay.
And we can get more specifics on that.
Yeah, that sounds great, though. Another question. Please discuss on internal convoluted PTFE versus external convoluted PTFE hose.
Okay, so actually we sell both. So our DR product that we sell to NHRA teams, which is a hose that we don't manufacture, we buy from another source. basically, this hose is the way that it's manufactured is it's made with tape. So you're taking layers of tape and wrapping them around a screw essentially, and then running it through a nut, and then sindering the process, sindering the hose together to make this shape. This being convoluted on the inside and outside makes it way more flexible and like way lighter weight. So we can use less material. The hose is thinner. Like if anybody that's familiar with our stuff has seen like one of our -10 hoses looks like a -8 hose, or the other way around. Our -10 hose looks like a
Yeah.
-12 hose, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So ours, it looks like one size smaller, and obviously the convolutions is what's going to help that flexibility.
Yeah.
So and the strength, right? So once you start doing that radius with the smoothbore style hose, you're gonna eventually kink, right? I mean, that's just what's going to happen. The convolutions help keep that nice and uniform through that big radius or the tighter radiuses. So with that, that's what the convolutions are. What they look like on the outside, they look like on the inside.
Yeah.
And then the exterior style is obviously it's smoothbore on the inside, and then they just cut an exterior. It does give it a little flexibility, but it's not going to be it's going to be a little more flexible than a smoothbore hose,
Yeah.
but it's not going to be as flexible as a fully convoluted hose.
Now, and even the stuff that's convoluted on the outside, in order to get it this kind of flexibility, most of the people are actually wrapping a metal wire around the outside of it, which is I don't know, cumbersome in my opinion, but some people are dead set on having to have a smoothbore hose. The reason we have it for the DR product is just there's a step in performance with gallons per minute, and like really the only car in the world that sees that pressure drop throughout the system is a top fuel car. I mean, it's crazy how much fuel
They're using 118 gallons a minute.
Yeah, I mean, we got to a point when we started doing this entire product range, they were at 90 gallons per minute, and
Yeah.
it just keeps going up and up and up. And when we did that product range, it was a difficult thing for us because we've always been, the people that have held convoluted hose to a high standard, and it's like we had Brian Karate and Mark Oswald at Antron Brown's team worked with us because I don't know if they're dumb or they liked us so much, but it was like they worked with our convoluted hose and actually won an NHRA championship with it. But it was so crazy what we had to do to step hoses up, to get them to flow the same numbers and everything. And then, at one point the tubing for the smoothbore hose became available. And we kind of took a step back and said, okay, we can get hose to do that job now. What can we do to make it better? And the Miller part of our company, he's so smart. Like he came up with a really, really, really good idea to move something around on the internals of a fitting so you could use the same size wrench and everything and open the bore up it was almost 100 thou on each side. And as soon as we did that hose, it was like a game changer for guys with their fuel cars because they made their gallons per minute jump up, and then made their pressure drop go way, way down. And
I think we picked up about 5 gallons a minute and knocked out about 100 pounds of back pressure out of the system, which was
crazy at the time. Like guys were having all kinds of problems with their fuel pumps flexing, and they were having to rebuild them all the time. And we basically eliminated fuel pump maintenance.
And I think the other thing that's important, on this convoluted stuff is, we do all forms of racing: NASCAR, IndyCar, sprint cars, monster trucks. I mean, it's everything. It's like we've never ran into a scenario where a convoluted hose caused problems.
Right.
I mean, we can do any fluid on any car, and people think they have to have smoothbore. You don't have to have smoothbore. This convoluted stuff wins championships every year.
Yeah.
Now there is situations where you come down to a bore issue, and that's just size of hose, right? Maybe you're not getting the flow you think. Well, maybe you need to have the next size up hose. It's not you're not fighting a convolution issue. You're a flow issue. You just need a bigger, larger volume. Yeah, a bigger bore. So I think that's very important to people know, because we do hear that question. Well, the convolutions are going to really mess up with the flow and all that. Well, I mean, it all comes down to bore. This is all built off like, a -8 is 8/16 of an inch. So that's a ½ inch. That's how this system is measured. We have other people out there that, our -8 flows more than yours. Well, you're right, because the bore is larger. So it comes down to we got to match apples to apples of what we're talking about here.
I love this though. I love talking about innovation and
Yeah.
solving problems and finding better ways in all of this. And then when you find a better way, you find a better way on that better way, which is really neat. A follow up to that question: can we reuse internal convoluted PTFE hose in case of engine blown?
So that's challenging. I mean, yes, I mean you can. Obviously, cleaning them out is a little more of an issue. It takes time. We've had people, you know, y- shoot brake clean through it or marble or put a
Solvent.
solvent tank and shake them out and clean them all up. Do you know if everything is out of there? No, maybe not. I mean, that's what your filter's for. But a lot of people, you know, if you're that nervous, if you're willing to, spend all this money on a new engine, like obviously because that's what happened, do you want to mess with that? I mean, that's up to you. That's your call. But a couple $100 in hoses, I think, is the smallest part of the bill. But
Yeah,
yeah,
if you're replacing cranks and blocks and all that, and you're going to reuse the hoses, it's like it's even with a smoothbore hose, you can still get, you can get debris trapped up in the crimp joint where the fitting meets the hose. And so it's like at that point, it's like I think any hose really at that point, you should probably look at changing it out unless you're totally positive it's clean, which is difficult
yeah, if
on
I'm spending 50, $80,000 on a motor, I think I'm going to spend a couple more dollars on some hose. I mean, that's a great question, though. We get that a lot.
Yeah.
There's not been a perfect scenario where someone's come up with a really great cleaning system. I mean, we've talked about it. It's talked about here. How do we do this? Um, it is something we're striving to come up with a solution for it. We haven't got there yet, but we are looking into something to try to, be able to clean hoses and stuff like that. But at this point, it's obviously the customer's call, but we try to, if you're gonna spend that kind of money, a couple $100 in more hoses, I think it's just a safe bet to just protect what you got.
Yeah, no, I would agree. I believe in insurance and
Yeah.
making sure I have everything right. What about the customer that wants a little bit of DIY on it as well? Do you have equipment available so I could crimp my own hoses?
Yeah, we do actually. We have basically we have a crimping system that if you tell us what size dies you want, we can either sell you a package to where it's either we can do -2 all the way up to -20.
Yep.
People identify a lot of people don't need every size, so they can call and say, "Hey, I need a -3, -4, -6." We basically calibrate the machines here and ship them out. We actually have quite a few in stock
Yeah.
right now if people want.
We usually move about 80 of them a year. I mean, a lot of teams take them. We have a program to help, actually make the machine cost nothing. I mean, you buy X amount of product, you'll get a free crimp machine that's yours for life. And that's amazing thing. It's all for the customer. Like I said, we sell 80 of them a year. We're trying to, we try to get the customer started off right? I need you to have the machine in order to move the product. So we're taking a chance with you and, your program, and we're investing in it. And, therefore, the long term, we hopefully have a healthy relationship all the way down the road and keep you, moving fittings out the door.
Yeah, I like that. And you know what? Because you offer a lot of products, and we've talked about whether it is vacuum pressure or internal pressure or different things like that. Um, Obviously, hoses might look the same in certain situations, but they obviously don't perform the same. And we mentioned a little earlier just different product lines that you offer. What are some of the other mistakes, if you will, that you see people make commonly before they really hook up with you?
So, I mean, so obviously a lot of people, Summit sells a lot of reusable fittings. All these shops have the reusable style fitting where you essentially just screw it together in a rubber hose and it's quick and easy. You can do it at home, right? And that's where ours becomes challenging because you have to have that machine or you have to send us the product and we have to do it for you. And that makes it a little challenging. But like rubber hose is good for about 2 to 4 years before it starts to deteriorate, right? The rubber starts to get harder. Everybody has a friend that has a hot rod in his garage and it smells like gas when you go in there. Well, that's actually the fuel breathing through the hose. It's deteriorating the hose and eating it alive. So, and then you start to get these particles. The rubber starts to break up and starts traveling through your system. Let's say in a sprint car, methanol is the worst. Methanol eats rubber. So we get these little particles traveling through the system. Let's say it clogs a nozzle or a fuel injector or whatever. now you've just burned up a piston. Now you hurt a motor, over, the rubber line. So with this stuff, you have no shelf life. I mean, this stuff, the only thing that wears is the exterior. So as long as we mock it up and install it properly and don't have it chafing off anything very sharp and stuff like that, we've had hoses come back that are 20, 25 years old that still pass pressure tests, still just as flexible. The nuts all still turn. It's astounding. So I mean, the stuff will pay you back once you start using it.
Yeah, one thing kind of touching on what Scott said, the fuels nowadays, even like pump gas has so much ethanol in it nowadays that it eats through rubber at a rapid rate. Diesel is terrible with rubber.
Yeah.
So this stuff is impervious to just about everything except for some crazy cleaning acids that you would never run through your race car or car anyway.
Yeah. All right. So, how do I go about ordering lines, and what's the best way to do that?
Right now, we're at a crossroads with getting an e-commerce system in on our new website, but right now you can call us at 704-793-4319. And anybody that answers the phone can help. We have Penny Brown, who's been here for 26 years. Andrew DeBart,
Yeah.
he's been here
20 years.
20 years.
We have a lot
We have a lot of people with a lot of time. So anybody that picks up the phone is fully capable of answering anything. If calls that come in that need to go to California or Indianapolis, we can transfer them internally. And so, yeah, anybody.
And then the email, obviously we have sales@bmrs.com.
Yeah.
I mean, you could send in stuff there. As we get going, we, start working with people. We FaceTime with people, whatever we got to do to make sure that they understand what they're getting and any, situations they run into. We've, communicate, text message, anything. But I mean, yeah, the two pathways right now, is to call in the shop, or obviously walk in. If you're at any of our locations, India or California, it's open door. So come on in and, bring what you got, and we'll see if we can accommodate that.
Yeah. And I like the idea as well, like you're talking about with the website. Okay, I've got some specific needs. I've got these measurements and different things like that. How do I do it? And you have tools and resources for that?
Yep. Yeah, we do.
Yeah, that's really cool. Another question came in from the chat. Can you make fuel injection lines for sprint car injectors?
Yes, we do. Yeah, we do.
Actually, this would kind of be the product. I mean, -3. This is not the end of it, but yeah. So obviously, that's the probably last spot of all sprint cars. Is everybody starts, switching over to this PTFE product from the fuel cell all the way forward, but then we leave the rubber lines on the injectors, which. What are we doing here? So, but we do have, this is a -3, it's the PTFE inside, and this just has a black jacket over it. It's stainless underneath, and then we can custom make them to your lengths, screw directly into the block, the fuel block with an O-ring, and then to the nozzle.
To the nozzle that has it's a little bit different than a typical -3 fitting. It's a 45-degree seat versus a 37, and we have those in straights, 70s, 90s.
Yep.
And yeah.
So there's many options there. And then the solution we came up with a few years ago, a lot of sprint car guys and midget guys, in the fuel cell, we actually had a rubber hose that just kind of like sat on the bottom of the tank, and that's what would suck up the fuel. Well, here we are again, starting with rubber in our system. So we've come up with a in-tank fuel kit that we can make for 28 gallons and 30, all the sizes. We can do it with a filter in the tank, or we can do it with a brass ball on the bottom to keep that weight there. And so we can custom make you that, and with a bulkhead that goes right through the fuel cell. So then now we start to finish PTFE, and then, eliminate all that rubber.
That's again, more solutions. And,
Yeah.
as new things come up, new things are needed, which is pretty neat. There are some other things that BMRS offers as well. What can you tell me when we start to get out of the plumbing a little bit about wiring and electrical?
Well, we're both kind of
Great
on this. We try to sell it to people. We do have a wire shop. We do have basically inventory of any kind of Deutsch connectors, the everything from even
Weather pack stuff.
weather
like that.
pack stuff, the older type of stuff, the mil spec connectors, and then even to the newer stuff that they're using with ECUs and EFI and data acquisition systems. So we have all that in stock. We do build harnesses for people. Try to get where people, if they have drawings for them, we're not crazy about the idea of somebody just bringing in a box of wires and saying, here, I need another one of these, because it's a lot of kind of backwards engineering to do. But we love the idea of doing stuff for car builders that are kind of building the same thing over and over again, to where we can build harnesses for their cars, their engines, do a lot of that stuff for military stuff right now.
And people really don't realize how long it really takes to build a wire harness.
Yeah.
You know, it's people want to get into, it is a very time consuming system, and people think, oh, well, I just go get my wire and do it myself. Well, then you get into it and then you're like, realize that it is a difficult task.
Yeah.
So like he says, we sell all the piece parts that, anybody can buy. And then we have, turnkey harnesses. We just got to, get your specs, meet your specs. And we have a hot pot tester that we can put the harness through a strain to confirm that it, does what it's supposed to do. So everything is confirmed before it makes it to the customer.
Yeah, we're kind of crazy that we decided when we started the company, to do hose and electrical, or typically are the last things that people do. So they get their entire car done, and then they need hoses and they need wiring, and they need it right away. And so we decided to set ourselves up for success, right?
Yeah. We're just going to be the last minute people. That's what we're.
Exactly.
Yeah, but no, trust me, I get the whole wiring harness thing. That's why I would call someone like you.
Yeah.
I know how long it would take me,
Yeah.
and it would be out of the question. When we start to talk about the different product lines of the hoses, and I know we've covered a lot of different things, but at least on the website, you talk about maybe three main product lines: the Pro Gold, Smooth Bore, the Pro Black DR. And then we get into tube bending and different things, but what do separate those? I know you mentioned the DR was really a lot more for drag racing applications and different things like that, but what would separate, say, the Pro Gold from Smooth Bore or something like that?
Well, I mean, the smooth bore stuff is going to be smaller, so obviously it's going to be for brake systems, gauge lines,
and higher pressure applications.
Yeah, higher pressure, like air systems. And then, even up to -6 for power steering. We also do -8 version for power steering for like
Nitrous lines.
Truck series or off-road trucks, and then nitrous lines, guys are starting to go to that. But obviously, I mean, with what we sell, we want to make sure that no matter what you're moving fluid through your car with, we have something to cover everything. And like I said, we go from -2, which is a 1/16 of an inch, all the way up to -32, which is 2 inch.
Yeah.
So we make 2 inch flexible, convoluted hose. So yeah, just the basic, all the different things that we have on the website is basically to be able to cover everything and have the right thing for it. Yeah, we with the thing with the DR earlier is like we get a lot of phone calls from people that go, I got to have that. And it's like, well, you really don't need it.
Yeah. You're like, are you going to be moving over 100 gallons a minute? No. Okay. Well, then you're not going to, it is more costly.
It's more costly. It's
not as flexible. It's bigger. It's bulkier.
The fittings are a lot more, that was one thing we should have brought that in
Yeah.
here. But we basically, in order to optimize everything we were doing with that, from doing the bore size through the fitting and everything, we even went and did the bends, because everything we do on smaller stuff is 1-to-1 bend. We did like 1.5.
Yeah.
So we did bigger arching bends to actually take more of the, pressure restrictions out of the fittings. And so, just trying to go through everything and just trying to make the right thing for every part. I mean, we basically, like I said, if people come to us and they have massive problems with, trying to get this big thing through a small area, we've done things in the past where we've done 3D printed titanium fittings to get into things. We've done carbon fittings. I mean, there's just the knowledge of people that work here, and even, everything that we've seen over the last 25 years, just gives us a lot of experience to say, hey, we can do that, or, it'd be better if you did it this way. But trying to have kind of a product range for, everything, to kind of cover everything you have on the car.
Yeah, and which I think is really awesome, and you can just hear it coming, out of both you, John and Scott, the experience with what you do, and I think that's a really neat thing. And you talked earlier about, hey, sometimes we're doing something and we're doing so many of them, now it gets a part number. If what type of database do you keep in that? If I ordered something specific for something, and 5 years down the road, I kind of wanted to do it again. Are these things that, do I need to go remeasure things or different things like that? Or can I say, I had this order a while back. Can you just make another one?
No, I mean, we can, yeah, I mean, we keep everything in our ERP system, so it's not kept in a separate database. And so we will go through things after a while because it kind of, slows searches down and we'll make them inactive, but they'll always be there. We're not going to go through and purge things out and delete them.
And this comes all the way down to a full car kit. So I mean, we have late models that do a full plumb job, and it's front to tail, and we got every hose on the car, and we got part numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4, and we can print you our we can duplicate a brand new car set. So we have, either for your trailer or, if you're building another car, stuff like that. And another thing we could talk about for a quick second is our mobile trailer. We have a mobile trailer around North Carolina here. That's how everything kind of starts. The kits develop. Like we'll go to NASCAR teams or, midgets or sprint car teams around here and develop, we'll have a guy out there go mock everything up and actually, create the kit, and then that will continue to be ordered through the shop that way.
That's really cool. Yeah, and I like the idea, thinking too, hey, if I'm a car builder and I'm finishing it, but I'm building the same types of cars or doing things like that, to be able to sit down with you guys and say, hey, what can we do? I mean, we can build efficiencies into this, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah. And like even if people are further away from here where they can't use the mobile unit, they'll call and say, hey, I think I'm going to need 5 straights, 545s, 590s. We'll send them the parts. Actually, typically we'll send this clear cheap hose that you can buy at Home Depot. They'll use that hose to kind of mock everything up, mark, to make sure that everything's cut right and all that, send it back to us, and then we'll catalog everything off of that. And then like Scott said earlier, we'll get people that'll just send us a whole box of their stuff. And we just ask that they drain it and clean it.
Please take the oil and fuel out of your lines.
Yeah, we get boxes that show up that are just
that need hazmat.
Yeah, that needs hazmat. But yeah, people will send a whole box of stuff, and then we'll go through. We'll do the measurements for them, catalog it, and then send it back out to them with their new hoses.
And also, I mean, another form we open the shop up. If someone had wanted to drive to our shop, obviously we'll prearrange it. Call the shop. Hey, I got a brand new car that's ready to be done. Can we, arrange some time? Yeah, so we'll bring it right to the shop and we'll mock it up right then and there and make the kit for it in-house.
I think during the video that you showed earlier, we had a pro mod guy that had a car in here that day.
And we try to accommodate and just live the life. I mean, that's what it's all about. It's like we got to just understand what everybody's going through, and this is a struggle. It is hard to understand how to mock up a hose when you have nothing. Like I go home and I have a race car, and I try to do it at home, and I've done this for a long time. Like, man, it's not easy. It's hard to understand. And, I guess if you didn't have anything, the best thing would probably be is a piece of string to run it around and figure out how it lays and all that. Because it is artwork. I mean, you are spending your hard-earned money on some stuff like this. And now race cars nowadays, they're not just thrown together. These things are immaculate. They're artwork. People spend a lot of time making them super nice. They're nicer than a lot of cars in the street.
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is artwork. This, mocking all these hoses up, making them lay together, and it's important. So sometimes it's very difficult to do by yourself. So like I said, use the resources of getting products sent to you, bring it in, send us your existing stuff, and we try to accommodate all that.
Yeah, I like that though. And again, talking at the beginning of this, I mean, number one, you want things to work. And in working, they don't need to leak. They don't need to do things like that. You want it to look good. I mean, I think that's an important thing. You want it to fit, obviously, as well. But look, when something that it's a huge deal to me, especially when you see something that looks like this was done really efficiently, because that speaks volumes of every other detail that went into the car. And if you're going to spend a lot of time working on something, you need to put things in there that are right, and you don't need to have a bunch of extra twist and things like that because something didn't fit. And like you guys said, things rubbing up against things, chafing, and all of that, you can fix that by making it fit.
Oh yeah.
And I think that one last point on this kind of stuff is like, safety is extremely important to us. We all the time try to make stuff as safe as possible. That's why we eliminate adapters and connections and stuff like that. That's why we talk about this rubber situation. Push lock, a lot of people use this push lock style and they'll shove a fitting in a rubber hose. Well, and they'll run methanol through it. Well, guess what? Your push lock gets deteriorated by the methanol, and then you'll be racing, and all of a sudden a fitting flies off and you're on fire. It's not worth it then. So get your stuff updated.
Yeah.
Yeah, well said. John, Scott, this has just been awesome. Glad we finally got you on. I know Judy's been working on it for a while, and you guys are connect on this, so it's fantastic.
We're going to do this more often.
Yeah, we'll do it every week.
Oh, well.
We're here.
We had stage fright.
Yeah. This was easy. You guys made it easy. Thank you.
Thank you very much. What a great session. Really, like, I mean, wonderful company, and love your energy, enthusiasm, and passion for racing, and that's what this is all about. So thank you for a great session. This webinar has been recorded. It will be posted later on the EPARTRADE platform, distributed to our newsletter channel and social media channels. We also pushed a BMRS product back on the homepage of EPARTRADE. So for more updates and information, please visit epartrade.com. Next webinar will be on AI and autonomy and motorsport. So it's going to be different topics, but it's going to be very interesting. So thank you again for being with us today, and goodbye.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, we want to thank you for watching. Now, be sure to like, subscribe, and click on the bell so you're always up to date with the latest racing technology, industry insights, and exclusive content from EPARTRADE.
EPARTRADE is a digital platform that we've created basically to make life easier in the business community of auto racing.
EPARTRADE, there is no e-commerce. It's literally a connection just like at a trade show. So now, any time of the year, a buyer could reach out to a supplier.
When you see a product that you're interested in, all you need to do is click on request more information, and then from there it is forwarded directly to the buyer or to the supplier.
EPARTRADE really eliminates having to travel, closing down your shop. Now you have a place to showcase globally your racing product and technology.
Land speed record holder George Poteet's Speed Demon rocketed 481 miles per hour at the Bonneville Salt Flats. You don't go that fast without ARP fasteners.
There is no way that we could go the speed that we've gone, the number of times we've gone, with a lesser quality bolt than ARP supplies to us. And we absolutely wouldn't be where we were today if it weren't for ARP.
When failure is not an option, it's ARP-bolts.com.
We're Performance Plus Global Logistics. Our team of dedicated performance industry and logistics experts get valuable cars and components to the track on time in top condition. We provide expedited logistics solutions for the performance industry using direct routes instead of deferred options, and communicate all necessary information to the appropriate resources to meet regulations and ensure a smooth transit and secure delivery, both domestically and internationally. And we exceed customer expectations by providing best-in-class service with an efficient and cost-effective system in place. Contact us today to book your next shipment.
You work as hard as your truck, and you have no time for downtime. That's why more truck owners trust Blue Def, America's #1 diesel exhaust fluid brand. Each batch is guaranteed pure, so you can avoid costly repairs caused by inferior DEF. Demand America's best for your truck. Blue Def and Blue Def Platinum. Put trust in your truck.
With roots in the Midwest that date back well before the Model T, Fifth Third Bank has a long history of serving the needs of automotive companies. While much has changed over the years, our passion for helping businesses put cars on the road and on the track has not. Today, we are more committed than ever as a member of SEMA, a founding member of PRI, and a sponsor of multiple race teams across several racing series. Where can we take your business? Fifth Third Bank.
Where will you find Farea Racing components, circle track, drag racing, and any top race shop? In every form of motorsports competition, our valves and valve train components deliver race-proven design and technology. And we've brought that same performance to our street applications as well. We're backed by 5 decades of experience, an extensive range of off-the-shelf components, and our custom valve department has the fastest turnaround times in the industry. Farea Racing components. Stand with us or race against us.
When it comes to pushing the limits of performance, the pros know there's no room for compromise. At Crowder Cams, we don't just engineer camshafts and valve train components, we redefine what power means. Since 1955, Crower Cams has been the name trusted by racers, engine builders, and gearheads around the globe. Whether you're building a street machine, a dragster, or a track car, Crower Cams provides the muscle you need to dominate. And with Crower, victory is within your reach.
At SeaTech, we're on a mission to lead the storage industry through innovative custom-built solutions that meet every challenge head-on. Designed for versatility, whether in a commercial setting or at home, we create high-quality, durable products that stand the test of time. SeaTech, engineering and innovation.